Hello, welcome to PACE for improving communication. PACE is a tool, it's an evidence-based tool from motivational interviewing that supports the best communication possible and also better outcomes. Now, I want to urge you not to dismiss if you think any of this sounds simple, because some of the concepts that I'm talking about today, they are simple, but not easy to do consistently. I also want to encourage you to practice and take it on a test drive. So PACE, let's learn about PACE and how it can help you to improve your communication. So PACE is an acronym and it stands for partnership, acceptance, compassion, and evocation. So let me go over each of those and how you can apply them to your communication. Partnership is key. It is very normal to approach communication from an I perspective, like what I want to get out of it, what I need to communicate, what I. But the best communication possible is a partnership. So it's when you approach with a we perspective. How can you make that simple concept real? You can ask yourself as you're communicating, are we both at this communication table, or is it just one of us? And you can bring the other person into the conversation by asking open-ended questions. You can ask what their agenda is. The goal should always be to understand why both people are trying to communicate. So express your agenda with the communication, and if you're not quite clear on the other person's, ask them what they want to get out of their conversation with you. I think you'll find most of the time it's different than what you're wanting. And that's where we miss an opportunity, is when we don't know what the objective of both sides. So make sure you partner. Now, if you are joining, will you let me know in the comments, why is communication important to you? Why are you wanting better communication? All right, so we went over partnership, that's P. A is acceptance. This one sounds easier than, sounds easy, not easy to do. Acceptance means that both people feel it's a safe space and that their ideas will be accepted. How do you do this? I encourage you to wear your curiosity hat, which means that instead of bringing the I hat in, you bring your curiosity hat and you approach things from just curiosity, wanting to understand versus wanting to convince. Now, if you're in a situation where you're like, well, I'm being accepting, but the other person isn't, you're more likely to have an accepting interaction if you role model it to the person you're speaking to. So having acceptance at the conversation, and one of the best ways to do that is by approaching things from a curiosity lens. C, compassion. This is an interesting one. So this is approaching conversation with a genuine desire to improve the other person's outcomes. So it's not just about you getting something, but approaching it from, you know what, I'd really like you to win too. I'd like to support you to win. And that, when you approach communication from a servitude lens, it really changes things. It changes the energy from what you will get out of it to what can you contribute, and will usually lead to more understanding and better outcomes. E is my favorite because I find that it is one of the easier things to do when you remember to do it. Evocation. So this is encouraging you to approach conversations from a curiosity lens and a gatherer of information. It's an energy of wanting to understand the other person's viewpoint. So when I am communicating, evocation would look like asking you open-ended questions, getting to know what your objectives are, what you already know, what you don't know, what your strengths are, what your opportunities are in regards to the conversation, how I might be helpful, how you might be helpful. Evocation is, I always think of Harriet the Spy. I don't know if you've ever read Harriet the Spy or Nancy Drew or the Hardy Boys, but they were great at evocation. They were investigating. So this is, you're investigating in your communication opportunities by asking questions and understanding, gathering information. If you use these 4 consistently, your communication will improve tremendously. Your communication exchanges will become more efficient. You will be able to meet your own needs and the needs of others in a better way. It is really powerful. And I hope that you will take them on a test drive. So just as a reminder, PACE, partner with the person you are speaking to. Make sure both people are at the table communicating. Acceptance. Accept the person where they're at. C, compassion. Bring compassion to the table. And evocation. Bring your curiosity lens and investigative lens and get to know the person you're communicating with, where they're coming from, what their objectives are, and how you can support their needs. I am rooting for your success. I hope this was helpful. And in the comments, I would love to know, what is one small thing that you're willing to do to improve your communication based on what we covered today? What is one small thing you are willing to do to work on improving your communication based on what we talked about today? Have a great day. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm rooting for your success.